All right.
Okay, so we should be going live now, and I'd like to welcome everyone to this month's Western Pennsylvania Mushroom Club and talks and so on. And my name is Richard Jacob. I'm the former president of the club, and we have guest speaker Fluff Berger today, who's the current vice president, and Jim Wasick will be talking about membership. I've got a little presentation I'm going to put up on the screen, and we'll get rolling. So yes, welcome to anyone who's just tuning in right now. And what we have is a couple of upcoming events. As you know, we haven't had any events, many walks this year due to COVID-19. And with the state and this part of the state now going to the green situation, we think we can organize some walks. They're not going to be organized the normal way. So instead of everyone just meeting and us publicizing a location and meeting there at 10 a.m., the location is going to be secret. It's open to club members only. You can go to the website right now and you can find this walk on the 27th of June listed there. Sign up, and a day or two, or a day before the walk happens, we're going to take all of the people who have put their information there, and then we're going to randomize that list and fill out a group of 20 people. They will be notified. If they let us know that they can't make it to that location, we'll draw another name from the pot, and then club members can meet at the designated location for the walk. And when we do the walk, we'll be sort of walking separately in family groups or individuals or whatever, rather than a big bunch. But the idea is we can actually, do a walk without too much grouping, but with social distancing. And this will be 27th of June will be the first walk, and there'll be another walk on July the 25th with Allegheny Land Trust. You have to go to the website for that to register, and we hope to fill out some more walks depending on how this first one goes. July's meeting will be a virtual meeting as well. It will be monthly meeting on polypores and crusts, and I think Judy and Lamont will be speakers. We have a couple of other events that were listed. The Mushroom Education Day, or this year was going to be Dye Day on dyeing mushrooms. This has been completely postponed till next year. The location where we were going to hold it doesn't even have water available there anymore, so we can't prepare dyes, and it's just, not going to work with social distancing. The formal part of the Gary Linkoff foray is sort of postponed to next year, so that would be the invited speakers. But we are preparing a sort of more of a virtual meeting. There probably will be some physical walks, and we have a virtual speaker who will speak on the day at about 1 p.m. And information about that will follow. But because the main foray will be cancelled, we're not going to do the Science Sunday either. And that won't be replaced. Or maybe we'll put up a few videos about stuff instead. Okay, so that's upcoming walks and so on. We've got a membership report. So actually, I don't know if anyone has seen that stuff because I probably was not sharing my screen, so I made an error there. Okay, so let's see. All right, so here's the information about the walks, and you'll be able to find that online, the information online. So now we have membership.
Okay, this is Jim.
Okay, and all right, Jim, go ahead. Oh, it looks like we've lost Jim at that crucial time. Okay, all right. Oh,
Okay.
Oh, there's Jim.
there's Jim. Okay.
Okay, Richard, we've got a lag on the Zoom to YouTube.
Yes, there's a time delay between what we actually present and what's being displayed. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any of the displays up on the screen. I just see you.
Okay.
Well, needless to say, we've got about 746 members right now, and that's as of today. And so that puts us about 60 members short from where we were year to date last year. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Well,
Those are the box. There's the membership. So we're actually doing quite well. Last year, we've got to remember that 2019 was a banner year with over 1,000 members.
yeah. All right. So all in all, pretty good though.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, without further ado, we're going to move to tonight's speaker, and that is Western Pennsylvania Mushroom Club identifier and board member Fluff Berger, who is looking for summer fungi. So Fluff, what I'm going to need you to do is share your desktop.
Okay, you have to allow that.
Oh, okay.
Try again. Nope. Still disabled.
1 second.
Okay,
Okay.
there we go. Right, whiteboard, iPad. Let's see if I can get this up here. All right. There we go. Get rid of that. All right. Can people see the screen? Can you see the screen? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see the screen yet.
Oh, I've got a full screen here. Oh, let's go back. Okay. Can you see any? Let's see. So I can see my screen. Wonder why it isn't sharing. All right, let's try that again. Share screen. Mail inbox. If I double click, can you see it now? Maybe if I go, no?
No, not yet. All right, yes, now we can see it.
Okay, good. All right, so we'll go this way. Now you can see it?
Yes, we can.
Terrific. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm thrilled to be doing this evening, and I'm hoping that it's coming through for all of you. If you have any questions, please hang on to them, write them down, or whatever you can do. And afterward, Richard can open up, and I'd be more than happy to answer questions. So again, keep them in mind, write them down, okay? And let's get started. So as many of you know, summer is one of the richest, most rewarding times to take a hike. What is it about hiking that draws us? Yeah, it's good exercise, but I know for me, I want to know what's around that corner and what's over that hill, what's down by the creek, what's past that rock. Breathing deeply and limbering up my joints and being aware of where I put my feet. The sun, the smell of the air, the beauty, family time, good conversation with friends. All of that is part of what draws me and hopefully you to the woods. Now,
Ooh,
for those of you who may just be beginning to learn about fungi, or for you hikers who wonder what is that thing on the tree as you go powering by, I hope and I'd like to suggest that you include a new concept in your visits to the woods this summer. Slow down. Easing your pace gives you more time to observe. Look off to the side of the trail. You're going to catch glimpses of color and patterns that your eyes cannot see if they're fixed smack on the trail. Now, it can be a challenge at first to check a few paces ahead and then turn your focus into the woods, and then check back a few paces and then turn your head back to the woods. It does get to be a rhythm. Slowing down and scanning the areas beside the trail becomes so rewarding. Now, of course, we're going to see those summer fungi that we're going to highlight today, but there's so much more to see, and it really increases the joy overall in hiking. All right, so that being said, we're now going to focus on the following summer mushrooms: chicken of the woods, oysters, chanterelles, black trumpets, boletes, amanitas, and corals. Now, of course, we're not going to get all of them in, just a select few that I think you will see if you get out this summer. Let's start with chicken of the woods. It's also called sulfur shelf. And this is probably the easiest fungus to identify. When it's fresh, it forms overlapping orange brackets or shells with bright yellow edges and bright yellow undersides. It mostly grows on dead logs, but sometimes you can find it on damaged areas of living trees. It is edible, and it is most palatable when it's young and fresh. I like it because it keeps its bright colors when you cook it. So it's kind of neat that way. Now, as it grows older, it begins to fade, and the branches, or the brackets, they thin out and they become kind of ruffled. The texture also becomes more like chewing on an overcooked, dried out piece of white meat chicken, if you've ever had that experience. The mushroom continues to fade to like a dirty white color, and then it finally just crumbles from the log. The Latin name, Laetiporus sulphureus, calls attention to the brilliant yellow underside of this really photogenic fungus. It uses the species name, uses the same name as the mineral sulfur, which is also that brilliant yellow. Now notice the zones of lighter and darker orange in this older specimen. That zonation is very common with chicken of the woods. There are no poisonous lookalikes for this mushroom as long as you match the description of the top and the bottom. And you know what? There are many harvesting instructions and recipe ideas for chicken of the woods on the internet. So that, have a ball, look it up and enjoy. So what if you find this? It looks very similar to chicken of the woods, except that it's missing those yellow edges and undersides. It's white instead. Well, pat yourself on the back. Congratulations, you have found white chicken of the woods. It is every bit as edible, and in my opinion, it tastes better than its yellow cousin. Its Latin name is Laetiporus cincinnatus, after the city in Ohio. That's where the person that named it found it and studied it. It grows at the bases of trees, and it can also grow on buried roots, which is what makes this chicken appear to be growing on the ground. All right. Another tasty and easy fungus to look for in the summer forest is the oyster mushroom. or mushrooms, I should say, since they often grow abundantly from fallen trees or standing dead wood. Summer oysters are white or beige or pale tan even on top. They have white gills underneath the cap, and they grow from the edge of the cap all the way down the short stem where it attaches down to the wood. Oysters are among my favorite edible fungi. They're easy to identify, they're easy to harvest. Just give them a couple taps. Whatever cap you're going to pull, just tap it a couple times to dislodge the tiny little beetles that like to live there. Then just pull it or cut it from the wood. They are also easy to clean under a thin stream of water in your sink. And then lay them on a towel to dry while you figure out how you want to make them for dinner. Again, check the internet for recipes. They're great. Like I said, I love these. They have a great texture. Also, as these get older, they get droopy and they get slimy and they get really buggy. They're just crawling with bugs. So you can kind of tell if you're looking at an oyster and it's just hanging down, ugh, don't even try. It's way past its prime. I feel lonely because I'm not hearing any questions, but I know we have to wait till the end. So on we go. Now, while oyster fungi don't have any true lookalikes, this little species called Crepidotus just might fool you if you haven't seen a lot of oysters yet, or if you're just starting out. So here are the differences. Creps are much smaller than oysters. They're about as wide as a slug is long. Okay, so there is a slug on that picture in above. You can see him. Oh, what else? Instead of a stem, creps have a tiny little nub that attaches to the wood. And that nub, if you look at the top of a cap of Crepidotus, it looks like it has a dot at the bottom. And that's actually the little nub of a stem that's attaching to the wood. Creps also have gills, white gills, for a very short time. They quickly turn brown with maturing spores. So unlike oysters, which continue to keep their white gills, creps have the browner gills. And finally, if you make a mistake and you pick a bunch of these cute white mushrooms and you cook them up, your very first horrible, disgusting, bitter taste will convince you to spit them out, throw them out, yuck. So you don't have to worry about poisoning, I don't think, with creps, because you'll never get them past the first part of your mouth. So you're all set. And now for the winner of the Summer Fungi Popularity Contest, chanterelles. In a good year, chanterelles are abundant, easy to spot, and they grow for weeks. They're beautiful and they're tasty. Several of our club members have created amazing haute cuisine with chanterelles. They've smoked them, they've pickled them, sauteed, baked, almost any way you can think of, you can make chanterelles. So here are a few ways to recognize chanterelles. The first thing to catch your roving eye as you're looking off the trail is the color. They are some shade of orange. They're yellowish orange, maybe. They're bright orange, maybe. They're very vibrant against the brown and the green of the forest floor. They will be growing on the ground. You remember, chickens and oysters both grow on those dead logs. No, chanterelles will not have that. They grow only on the ground. I find this ruffled species that's here in the picture, this is one I seem to find the most of for some reason. They're quite large, and they're in a good year, you can see them quite easily. To me, they look like weird flowers with no leaves. Now, next, thirdly, chanterelles have no gills or pores. So we're gonna look at that a little more closely. Instead of gills or pores, chanterelles have ridges. where their spores are produced. The ridges might be finely wrinkled, or they might be even absent, leaving the undersurface of the cap pretty smooth, as you can see here. If you find a mushroom that seems as ridges, take a closer look, and if they're hard and they fork, they don't move like gills, which are soft and flexible. The ridges, chanterelle. So one more important feature of the chanterelle is the white interior. The meat of the mushroom is white. If you look closely at the photo here, you can see that where the cap has been scratched or damaged, the white interior shows through. All right. Did I mess up? Nope, there we go. So though chanterelles don't really have a look-alike, many eager new mushroom hunters ask every year, are these chanterelles? They're orange and they're growing on the ground. So now we have a teachable moment. We take a good look under the cap and we discover these lovely orange, flexible, soft gills, which we point out are never a feature of chanterelles. Then we're going to use our handy pocket knife and we're going to slice through the cap to find that the interior or the flesh of this mushroom is orange. Again, what color are chanterelles? White. So chanterelles are white. This is orange. So it is certainly not going to be the chanterelle. These are jack-o'-lantern mushrooms and they are poisonous. They're not deadly poisonous, but I have heard that it is a very intensely awful experience if you eat these. And you just have to kind of endure the awfulness until it's over in 4 hours or however long it takes. So always be sure to match all of your identification characteristics before you cook up a mushroom. Taking a walk with the club at some time is a really great way to learn the identification characteristics, and it's better to make a mistake with somebody right beside you that knows how to fix it before there's a problem. So let's move on to black trumpets. The first thing that catches your eye, if you're lucky with black trumpets, is that you may think you're seeing holes in the ground. But then you look back real quick and you realize that they're not holes. There's something there. And then you go, wow, this is so weird. These look like, they really do look like little tiny trumpets. So stop, get down low and look carefully because there are probably quite a few of them if you scan closer to the ground. And it's a good thing there are more of them. They are small to medium-sized fungi, and they are really delicious. They have a unique flavor that's even better after they're dried and then rehydrated. Now, our club member, Kim Plishke, she makes this amazing black trumpet dip that disappears every foray that she brings it. You can make ice cream with these. You can flavor vodka with these. You can put them in your scrambled eggs. Have a ball because they have no poisonous lookalikes. Enjoy them. Black trumpets. Moving on again. Meet the boletes. They all won't come here because I couldn't fit them all on. There are hundreds of different kinds of boletes. They all share these characteristics. They have a cap and a stem, and under the cap, you'll find what look like pores, okay? They are actually tubes all stacked up side by side, and you can see the open ends of the tubes. So technically, I guess they are pores, but it's pretty cool when you cut through the cap of a bolete and get to see the tubes stacked right next to each other under the flesh of the mushroom. So we'll talk about that a little more. In the tubes, the mushroom spores develop and mature. As your eyes are wandering alongside the trail, see if you might catch sight of the next 4 boletes. First one, Old Man of the Woods. Old Man has a shaggy stalk and gray to black woolly scales on its whitish to light gray cap. Sometimes there are even little pink tints to that cap as well. The pores are dirty white and they become black as the mushroom ages. If you slice the cap from the top to the bottom, you'll be able to see the tubes lined up, like I said, under the flesh of the mushroom. Now, a cool thing happens with boletes. They're so fun to play with. When you cut that cap, you'll see it begin to change color. It turns pink to reddish, depending on the species. And then eventually it will change to black from that, at that cut area. Now, Old Man of the Woods is an edible mushroom, has a good amount of substance to it, but you'll have to decide if you like it or not. That'll be up to you. Not everybody likes it. Next on tap, we have the Bicolor Bolete. Bicolor has yellow and reddish colors on both the cap and the stem. The Bicolor Bolete is fairly common in our area. I do tend to find it every year. The pores underneath are yellow at first. They become a dull yellow olive brown color as the spores mature. Now these are also edible when they're young and nice and solid, they're best. But with any mushroom really, but with bicolors, take a small amount of this at first if you're gonna cook it up, because some people kind of have a reaction to it that like just, you know, an upset stomach or whatever. It's not that they're poisonous, it's just that your system may not handle it well. So always try a small amount of these first. Now bicolors get soft and buggy quickly. So then of course they're not as attractive for eating. The pore surface of these mushrooms will turn like a grayish blue. If you kind of draw your fingernail across it, it will stain grayish blue. And then again, turn slowly to black. Oh, this one's a heartbreaker. Look how beautiful this is. It's handsome, it's a firm mushroom, it's robust. And look at that reticulation on the stem. It's a beautiful mushroom to find and just real sturdy. There's a pale pink blush. I don't know if you can see the pink on the bottom photo there. You may find it young and with the white pores, or it may have that pink blush on it when you find it. You can just tell, oh, this bolete is going to be amazing when I get home and cook it up. Alas, it is not to be. This is Tylopolis Felius, the bitter bolete. Just for fun, take a nibble from the cap. Don't swallow it, just chew it up and see how long you can stand the bitter taste of this mushroom. It's a fun thing to do with friends. Okay, do spit it out no matter what. I don't think you'll have to be told twice to spit it out. So, but again, fun with boletes. Now, one of the most rewarding summer boletes to find is the fabulous frost bolete. If you're lucky, you will be able to find a pristine specimen. This candy apple red cap, red pores, this beautiful, deeply reticulated stem. It's a gorgeous mushroom. The slightest touch, however, creates a black bruise on any part of this mushroom. It's kind of a fussy princess that way. So now frost bolete is supposed to be super delicious. I have never been able to find enough of it to collect for cooking. I will keep looking and hoping that I do. All right, we're gonna switch up now and change families. Look at some lovelies from the Amanita family. All right, let me make sure I have the right notes for you. Okay, some of the most notorious fungi belong to this family. You're probably familiar. This one you will probably see this summer. It is a pure, unchanging white cap, gills, and stem. You got to familiarize yourself with this mushroom today. Really learn this mushroom, because then you won't have to worry about it after that. The destroying angel also has a white ring around the top of the stem, and it has a white sac around the base. That sac's called a volva. And the volva is often hidden under leaf litter. So for any Amanita, it's important to check the base of the stem for this really, really important identification feature. Brush away the leaf litter and kind of dig underneath with your fingers. It's usually not difficult to get underneath the base of any mushroom. And that way you will know if it has a vulva or not. And that's most often indicative that you have found an Amanita. So moving on to this tall and stately Amanita, it's called a blusher. It's pretty common in our area as well. Now, the identification feature that stands out most for the blusher is it is very easily bruised. Any part that's pressed or scratched blushes reddish. Since the forest is a busy place, these fungi already have several reddish stains on them, usually, when you find them. The name Amanita amera rubescens is in the process of being changed because it is different from the European blusher, which is Amanita rubescens. So we're just adding the amera onto the species name. Our final cap and stem mushroom for this evening is the beautiful and iconic Eastern Fly Agaric. It grows in both conifer and hardwood forests. The cap may start out orangish and turns to a yellow with white scales. And like all Amanitas, the gills of the Fly Agaric are white. Instead of a sac, instead of a vulva at the base, the Fly Agaric has bands of tissue around a swollen or bulbous base. The size and the color of this gorgeous mushroom makes it easy to spot. And there are often several of them growing in the same area. So if you see one, kind of stand up tall and look around, and you'll probably find more. Now, the Western Fly Agaric has a red cap and white scales, and it often appears in children's storybook illustrations. You probably have seen that. Now, lastly, and maybe the best reason to slow down and look around is to behold these unexpected and unusual fungi, the corals. Just contemplate how something that clearly seems to belong in an aquarium is so lavishly growing on a log or up from the ground. One of the corals that you're going to see for sure is the crown-tipped coral. It grows in sprigs and clusters on fallen logs. And each of these dull white branches is crowned with a crown. It's worth stopping, slowing down, taking a break to look closely at them to see the crowns on top. And slugs love to eat the crown tips off. And you can see that one is chomping away there on the left. Crown tip coral is edible for people too, not just slugs. It doesn't have much flavor. It doesn't have any flavor, but it's a cool novelty to eat. Now, in the large and diverse Ramaria family is this gem, Ramaria formosa. When they're young, these firm and tight clumps of branches are pink. I have found bubblegum pink ones. They're coral colored, they're gold, they're orange, just gorgeous colors. And all that color does fade eventually to tan with hints of orange or yellow in it. Notice how much more crowded these branches are than the crown tip coral. We go back. See, they're kind of loosey-goosey there comparatively, and they're much more tight and close together with the Ramaria formosa. And no, it is not edible. It is actually what they call mildly poisonous and causes gastric upset. So no one wants gastric upset. Not to be outdone, the Clavaria family has a contender for the prize of most colorful summer fungus. Clavaria zellingeri is a gorgeous purple when it's shiny new. It too will fade to a lighter, duller purple as it matures. Typically, it grows in small clumps in moss on the forest floor. It's not usually enough to collect for cooking, but the jury is also out on that, whether it's poisonous or it's just not worth eating. So I hope that you have enjoyed our whirlwind tour through this presentation. It was my very first one, that probably showed, but thank you so much for being with me, and enjoy this summer. I hope you get to find all of these. Good night. And Richard, back to you.
So if you can stop sharing your screen.
Okay, did it.
All right.
Whew.
Okay, so thank you, Fluff, for presenting and sharing some of the summer mushrooms with us. I've had a look at the live chat. At the moment, we don't have any questions, so we'll wait a minute or two just to see if any turn up.
Sure.
And if not, what we're going to do is we'll close down the YouTube live stream. And for all club members, you would have received an email, and that email has a link to the public Zoom meeting that we're going to have next. And Fluff will be there with us, and we'll be able to take questions as well. Okay, so we do have a question here. I have a thank you, really fun and informative. And Stephen Bucklin has a question. Any tips for finding the Clavaria zellingera? And does it like certain forests?
The purple coral?
Yes.
Yeah. Every time I found it, it has been not right after a rain, but maybe the day after it rained, in hardwood forest, under maples, trying to think if it were oaks. You know what, mostly maple forest. I'm not saying it doesn't grow under oak, but it just happened that I found it under maples usually.
Okay, and I know it comes back to the same place more or less every year. Well,
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't say every year, but it comes back to the same area. So at, let's see, Pine Ridge Park, which is over in Blairsville, there's a spot there, I know, and you can sort of go walking in that area and you'll find it.
Pine Ridge?
Yep. Yeah, otherwise, and I found it in Hardwood Acres as well, so.
Okay, well, the ones I happened to have photographed were actually in northeastern Pennsylvania, so they're on my travels. I know that the Clavaria grows here, but I haven't seen it in my haunts, so it was up in the northeast part of the state.
Yeah, okay. And another question from Small Addict 9. Have you seen any of these mushrooms yet?
I have been so busy. I have not been, this week, I have not been out hiking. So I would ask Kara Barkley that. She's out a lot and she finds so many cool things. I have not yet. You know what, actually I did see some crown coral, but that's all at the moment. And I've had some friends that have, you know, talked to me about, they found chickens already, they found the crown coral. So they're out there.
Yeah, I've seen some reports of crown tip coral. I've seen the first couple of pictures of boletes. And I found a chicken of the woods on the weekend, but
Oh, cool.
already past it, old.
Yeah. Oh, bummer. Yeah, I had a friend who found some chicken last weekend. Some of it was too old, but some was just right for him. So
Okay, that's good.
I'm hoping to get out sometime this week now that I've done this presentation.
Yeah, I found it's still very dry in many places,
Yeah.
and not many mushrooms, not much diversity.
Mm.
But I've seen pictures of people finding lots of stuff, so they have some good spots. My spots aren't good at the
My
moment.
spots are a little dry right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And another question from Ash Andrews: do you have to be careful about what type of tree to harvest chicken of the woods from?
I don't think around here, that's never been a problem that I've heard of around here.
Yeah, so I know you should take more caution if the chicken of the woods is growing on a conifer
Okay.
tree. And there's some different species that grow on conifer, and you won't necessarily find them around Pittsburgh
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, I can't think of any time I've ever found chicken on conifer, again, around here. Now, I have heard the same thing about there are other trees in other parts of the country that it's a different species, though. It's not sulphurus, and it's not cincinnatus. It's a different species.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
I got a chat comment here on commenting on the poisonousness of the amanitas. The destroying angel is a deadly poisonous mushroom. It's not a pleasant thing to go through. You usually need some transplants to survive it. So really, it's deadly.
That grow on conifer, and you won't necessarily find them around Pittsburgh area.
Oh, I can't think of any time I've ever found I hear us.
Okay, so I think that's Jim's audio is on and he's watching it at the same time.
Okay. Hey, Jim, mute your audio. All right.
We've done that.
The Amanita muscaria variant Gassaui, the eastern Fly Agaric, is also poisonous unless you do all kinds of things to take the poison out. You can look that up. David Aurora has a way to do that, but I tried it once and I just wound up with a goopy mess and it had no flavor at all. So yeah, if you want to go through the trouble. The blusher technically is not poisonous. I have eaten it. Again, I don't recommend that. If you're a beginner, you don't eat amanitas. That's just the way it is. Don't. You know, if a person that's been eating blusher invites you over, go ahead, enjoy. But don't pick a blusher yourself this summer if you're just starting out to eat.
And we have one final comment. Another board member, Adam Harrington, with Learn Your Land. And the comment was, he's just posted a good video of chicken of the woods on conifers.
Oh, great. Okay. Thanks.
So go check out Learn Your Land, which is an excellent video site from Adam, and lots of stuff about mushrooms as well as plants. And
yes, you can learn a ton from Learn Your Land. Just Google that and you will find some amazing educational and interesting videos.
Yep. All right, we're going to wrap this up here, and we're going to open up the main Zoom meeting to all the club members who have received the link. So thank you, Fluff, very much for giving this presentation.
Was fun.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to next month's meeting, and also have a look at the club website and look at the events section, and there is a walk that you can sign up for. A couple of walks now. Okay. See you all soon.
Bye now.